right, moving on to the West, and we'll start with the 1 seed Utah Jazz and the 8 seed Memphis Grizzlies, who are back in the playoffs after missing the postseason for 3 straight years. Uh, give the Grizzlies any shot in this one?
Yes, Grizzlies. Yes, this go 5. Grizzlies good enough to get 1 game. Um, listen, I know we stuck on Utah being, they #1 team in 3-point shooting. The thing about shooting is this. I've never seen a series where a team, even Golden State, prime example, when Golden State was at the prime of their run, it wasn't a series where they was on fire all 7 games, all 6 games, all 5. So it's going to be a game here where they're going to have a clunker, right? And with the way Memphis played, because they play defense, they shoot threes. Everybody shoot threes, but they're not predicated on threes. They're more predicated around the rim or the mid-range. Now, Brooks, he's more of a 3-point shooter. But when Ja Morant is engineering that offense, it's more of a mid-range to paint game. I think that's good enough to get you a game in a series against a team like Utah. But that's about it. That's about it. After that point, I think, you get that one bad game from Utah, and then they'll have enough offense with the defense to get, wrap them up and get them out of here. So I'm going to say 5 games, Utah advance to the next round.
I give them a little bit more shot. I felt, if Golden State had made it to the first round, I'd give them probably a little bit more of a shot. But I just been highly impressed with what I've seen from Memphis. I don't think there's a team. There's no punk in Memphis. I just can't see them coming out here and just getting rolled on out of here. I think this was going 6, and I think Memphis is going to make them sweat. But in the end, I do think Utah's a little bit too balanced. I think Utah's got a little bit more offensive weaponry than Memphis does. I think both teams play really good defense. And I think the matchup to watch is Jonas Valanciunas against Rudy Gobert. I think if Valanciunas has a big series and can get Gobert in some foul trouble and do some work in the paint, I think that'll be a great benefit to Memphis. But ultimately, Donovan Mitchell, he's scheduled to come back. And I think that's the biggest thing for Utah. We know he was out a little bit down the stretch. But with him back in the mix, that should be enough, and they should be safe and move on to the second round. All right, this is the one you've been waiting for. The 2nd seed Phoenix Suns are underdogs to the 7th seed defending champs in the Los Angeles Lakers. And I'm not even surprised by that. How about you?
No, I'm not surprised. Come on, you know what it is. LeBron James, AD, etc., defending champs, what not. And I think that's for the reason that we always lay out. What are we going to get from Chris Paul? How would Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges, how would they perform under these lights? And with that said, I think this goes 6, the Lakers in 6. Here's the thing about LeBron. We know LeBron attitude when it comes to, the season, then the first rounds. He's kind of like, you can give up a game too. I think they will give up a game. LeBron, he's in the news right now for, violating the health and safety protocols. I just seen something that said it won't affect his plan as far as Sunday game go. But with all that said, the Lakers going to give away a game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the first game they give away, just because that's what LeBron do. The game is chess, not checkers. So he's going to, calculate in that first game, and then, usually how the Lakers get down 4, 5, 6, they usually take care of it in the rest of the series. So, yeah, I got this one going 6, Lakers in 6. What say you?
I agree. I think it'll be 6. Much like I thought game 1 for Milwaukee is going to be highly important, I think game 1 for Phoenix is critical. They got home court, and they know they cannot not know that the Lakers are favored. First time 2 seed has been an underdog in like 30 years or something, and for good reason. I mean, the Lakers. The only reason the Lakers are in this position is because LeBron was out for so long and AD was out for a while. Those are the 2 guys that carried them to the championship last year. They're back now. Once again, LeBron out there hitting game-winning shots when apparently he can't even see anything. So I gotta believe his vision is back. So I do agree. Like, remember last year in the first round, Lakers out here flopping off against the Portland Trail Blazers. They dropped game one, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, Portland might do it." And no, quit it. So I think the same thing very well could happen. I know this much. If the Lakers lose game one, you feel a lot more confident in them coming back than you do about Phoenix if they lose game one. I think Phoenix got to win game one to get some confidence. But even if they do, I'm rolling with the Lakers, and I got them in 6 as well. The Denver Nuggets, perhaps an MVP in Nikola Jokic going out there against that star-studded backcourt of Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum. What do you have for that one?
Not my 2 favorite teams in the NBA right here or the conference, but I'm going to say this. I think this, for me, will be my series of the first round for the Western Conference. Much like I said over in the Eastern Conference. I think these two, with the likes of Jamal Murray being out and, Jokic, the Joker, stepping his game up and the guys around him stepping their game up. And Portland, at some point, they got to ask themselves, like, I think they had played the Nuggets in the last 3 series, or at least the last 2 years. They didn't play the Nuggets. You just gotta ask yourself, like, what are we doing here? Like, when are we gonna get to the next level? I like, when are we gonna play like we want to be here at some point? So I say that to say this. I think this is going to be the best series. I think this is a 7-game series. We did see them play the 7 games before 2 years ago, when Portland made it to the Western Conference Finals. So I think we got a possibility for fireworks. But with everything said, I can't trust Portland. So I'm going the Nuggets in 7 for this series.
I agree. I don't trust Portland either. But I also, listen, what the Nuggets have done since losing Jamal Murray is admirable. It may well get Jokic an MVP award. But I really think come playoff time, this is where you're really going to see the loss of Jamal Murray really show up and hurt the Nuggets. This Portland backcourt, go ahead and go on the second round and forget about it. But for one series, I think Damian Lillard, I think C.J. McCollum, I think they do enough. My Lord, we got an NJ and Nikola Jokic and J.N. and Yusuf Nurkic. It's going to be a European showdown in the middle. I think Nurkic might do a few things against. I'm first time ever. I'm gonna put some faith in him. Maybe he can hold them to like 25 points a game, and we'll say, oh, he did his job. But I think it's too much to ask the Joker from the front court to get it done. While the Portland Trail Blazers, for the most part, they're locked and loaded, healthy. And I think Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, I think they're good enough for one round. And then it'll be much more interesting to see what they do with Terry Stotts. Blazers in 7. And we got one more rematch out west. This was a 2-7 meeting last year, but now it's a 4-5. This is the Clippers and the Mavericks.
Clippers and the Mavericks. I know, when we talk about best series, worst series, usually that 4-5 matchup is usually your best series. But in this one, I don't think so. I think we're going to get a more motivated Clippers. And listen, they seen what Luka did last year. They got a first-hand view of what Luka can do. I guess Porzingis may or may not be in the series. Who the hell knows? Anybody know what the latest and greatest on the unicorn is? Let me know something. But with that said, I'm gonna take the Clippers in 6 because I think we get a motivated Clippers, like I said, a more together Clipper team, a focused Clipper team, and last but not least, a team that's seen what Luka and to some extent Porzingis can do when you don't take them serious, when you're not focused on them. So yeah, I'm taking the Clippers in 6.
Yeah, just so you know, if you Google "is Poor" and like the beginning of Porzingis' name, the first search result is Porzingis healthy. So you're not the only one wondering his status. But yeah, I do think this is going to be the best series in the Western Conference first round. Um, there's reasons to be optimistic for both. The Mavericks have taken some dramatic steps forward. They were ahead of schedule last year. We kind of thought they'd be like a fringe playoff team. They made it as a 7th seed, and then they surprised us even more by making the Clippers sweat to the tune of a 6-game series in the first round. And now they've stepped it up even more to the 5 seed. The Clippers, they kind of flown a little bit under the radar throughout the year, kind of in the 3-4 range most of the season. I think the Clippers get it done, but I think it's going 7, and I do think Porzingis will be the deciding factor. And I also say I think this series, perhaps maybe more than any other first round series, could have a just dramatic ramifications one way or the other, especially for the Clippers. If the Clippers come out here and flop around and lose in the first round, I mean they made some big changes last season, but I mean I don't think Kawhi is out here for the first round and exit. I think he wanted to come out here and stick it to LeBron and take over LA, and that is not what has happened. So of course the Clippers, who it's going to come down as well. It's going to come down to Paul George. Paul George and to me, Paul George and Kristaps Porzingis. Who's the better two? We know it's Paul George, but he got to prove it. And Porzingis just is about, are you healthy and are you going to be there consistently? Remember, he was not last season. That's going to be the deciding factor.